How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a good afternoon. I was looking at some of my older videos and I realized that like every video I do is like, good morning! Good morning! I'm like, I gotta change it up a little bit. So good afternoon. We're gonna go with 1 Corinthians 13. And I'm gonna read all of it to you because it's all pretty important. We went over, we read it last night during Bible study, the family and I. So it's a good read. So we'll get into it. Though I speak with tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, but I have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up. It does not believe or behave rudely. It does not seek its own. It's not provoked. Thinks no evil. Does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. But whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether they are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, Yeshua, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. And now abide in faith, hope, love. These three, but the greatest of these is love. You could be, it doesn't matter who you could be in this world. Jesus would be Jesus, just a normal man, if he never loved the way that he loved. This whole book, all these words can be summed up, in my opinion, in 1 Corinthians 13. You could have all the riches of the world, but if you don't love, you have nothing. You can have all the fame, but if you love, you have nothing. A lot can be said about this. And I think love, in many, many cases nowadays, is often overlooked. Who wants to love somebody that hates you? Yeshua did. He loved everybody, even as he's on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That is the greatest love of all time. And I know, me being a man, would not be saying that if it was me on the cross. But that's why he came and I didn't. That's why we're all here. That's why you're watching this video. Because we have a lot to learn about love. Love your enemies. Pray for your enemies. Love those who you don't even know. Love your neighbor. Love your frenemies. The people you keep close, just kind of on a little tab. You know, you could prophesy. You could have all these gifts from the Spirit. But if you don't love, you got nothing. Love is the greatest commandment that we often overlook, especially now. You see so discontent and hate in the world because, everybody wants to label anything nowadays. Now it's Christians attacking Asians. The devil is putting a divide in there. Putting a divide and making it physical. Why are you saying Christians are attacking Asians? Why is it a white cop that kills a black man? Why couldn't it just be this man killed that man? Was it wrong or right? That's what we have to decide. When you put our intake on these things, that's where everything gets mucked up. I've often said it, but when I served in the military, none of us looked at each other at a face value. None of us did. I just had this conversation at lunch. I think, to end racism, have everybody sign up. Sign up, because if you're willing to sign a dotted line and that dotted line gets cast with your life, then the collar of your brother or sister next to you has nothing to do with it whatsoever. If you're willing to lay your life down for another, there's no greater love. Don't get caught up in all these worldly things. Just love one another. If there's somebody that you think you should reach out to, somebody in your mind right now as you're watching this, like, maybe I didn't show them enough grace then. Maybe I should have been more compassionate. And I got enough people in my head. And I'm trying to right all those wrongs that I've done. But just show them love. At the end of the day, that's what gets people to at least entertain the thought of Yeshua or God. It's the love that Christians are supposed to project to other people. So don't forget that. I implore you to read 1 Corinthians 13 and then go on to 14. He talks about, speaking in tongues, prophesying in tongues, but you got to have one of the gifts to interpret the tongues. So read that, but more importantly, 13. Go after 13. And I still plan to do, if you guys are close, a Sunday church in the living room. If you're interested and you live around the Cincinnati area, just DM me. I'll shoot you my address. I just don't want it thrown out there for the whole world to see. They might come after this redneck pastor. But I try to give it to you as straight as possible. As straight as possible. I try not to put my thoughts into it, because that's not how it was intended to be delivered. It's just, here's the word. Here's how I'm interpreting the word. But this one's pretty cut and dry. Love. But the greatest of all these is love. Just love. That doesn't mean you're not going to get frustrated or aggravated sometimes. Take a second. Wait to respond. Everybody knows that you're not Jesus walking down here. Please repeat verse he said to go after. 1 Corinthians 13. Just read all 13. So it's 13:1 through 13. And then go on to read all 14. It's a little longer, but he talks about prophesying, speaking in tongues, interpreters. Paul does a pretty good job in this book, I think. So we might be learning about Corinthians for the next couple days, because that's where we're at in Bible study. You are welcome. So I thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, share. Tell somebody, not about me, about this. Tell somebody about this. That's what they need to be paying attention to. I'm not here to glorify myself. It's all Jesus. Every bit of this is Jesus. I just want as many people as possible to know the love that he has to offer. Bless you guys. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day. I love you. And if you have any prayer requests, you can also just message me, and I'll do some prayers for you guys. Have a great day.